Let's be real. When a woman loses interest, it can feel like the ground shifts beneath you. There's this intense urge to fix things, to win her back, to prove your worth. But here's the shocking truth. Those instincts are often exactly what make things worse. In fact, most men do 5 things that practically guarantee they'll push her even further away. Why? Because these actions come from a place of insecurity, and women are incredibly good at picking up on that. They can sense desperation even when you think you're hiding it well. We're taught to believe that when someone pulls away, we should work harder, be more available, or try to convince them of our value. But this approach often backfires in relationships. When a woman feels like she's in control and you're chasing her, interest can plummet. The more you push, the less respect she feels. It's a game that's unfair but very real. The more you lean in when she's pulling away, the faster she pulls back. So, it's essential to understand what not to do if you ever want a real shot at reigniting her interest. Let's put it this way. If a woman's losing interest, you're at a crucial point. Your actions can either reinforce her decision to move on, or they can create a sense of mystery and self-respect that might just make her second-guess her choice. So, don't let your instincts lead you down a path of constant texting, begging, or offering her validation she hasn't earned. Instead, understand that your worth doesn't depend on her attention. Remember, confidence and restraint are far more powerful than any grand gesture or apology. In this video, I'm going to take you through the 5 key things you should never do when a woman starts to lose interest. These are mistakes that are easy to fall into, but will keep her pushing further away if you're not careful. Think of this as a playbook for maintaining your self-respect and showing her a side she may have taken for granted. And if you can avoid these mistakes, you might just find that she starts to look at you in a new light. So, if you're ready to stand strong and show her that you're not just any guy who can be strung along, let's dive in. 1. Stop being the chaser. One of the worst things you can do when trying to win back a woman is chase her. Stop running after her every move. Stop trying to get her attention in every possible way. Chasing only shows her that you're desperate and willing to do anything just to be with her. Desperation is never attractive. No one wants to be the prize of a man who's willing to grovel for them. Here's the reality. Women don't want a man who's constantly chasing them. They want a man who's confident, someone who doesn't need to beg for their attention. Chasing comes across as weakness, and that's the last thing you want to project. When you're constantly reaching out, sending endless texts, or showing up wherever she is, it makes you look like you have no life of your own. You become nothing but a shadow, constantly following her around, and that's not how you win someone's respect or affection. Instead, focus on building your own life. Develop your own purpose, work on your goals, and make sure that you're a man who stands on his own, independent and self-sufficient. When she sees that you're living your life, not waiting for her to fill it, she'll be far more attracted to you. Chasing just pushes her away and gives her no reason to appreciate you. A man who doesn't chase is the one who gets chased. When you stop pursuing her, she'll start to realize what she might be missing. 2. Stop being too nice. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm a nice guy. I just want to treat her well. And that's good. No one wants to be with a jerk. But here's the key. Being nice all the time isn't enough. It's not enough to just be kind. If you're constantly nice and never stand up for yourself, she will start to see you as a doormat. It's easy for her to take you for granted when she knows you'll always be there, doing whatever she asks without question. When you're too nice, you start to lose your edge. Women want a man who can show strength, confidence, and, yes, even a little edge. Someone who stands up for what he believes in and doesn't just agree with everything she says to keep the peace. When you always agree with her, when you constantly try to please her, it makes you seem weak and easy to manipulate. She doesn't want a pushover. She wants someone who can challenge her, someone who has his own opinions and isn't afraid to express them. You need to draw the line somewhere. Stop being the guy who never says no, who always agrees, who always puts her needs ahead of his own. It's time to make yourself a priority. A woman will never truly respect a man who puts her on a pedestal and does everything she asks without question. Be nice, but have boundaries. Show her that you've got your own life, your own needs, and that you won't let her run over you. She'll respect you more when she sees that you've got standards, and when you stop letting her walk all over you. 3. Stop being predictable. You know what's boring? Being predictable. Always doing the same things, saying the same things, and being the same guy in every situation. When you're predictable, there's no excitement, no curiosity. And that's the last thing you want when trying to keep her interested. Relationships thrive on mystery, on the unknown. When everything you do is expected, it becomes dull. You've got to keep her on her toes. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about showing her that there's more to you than she's seen so far. Keep some of your life and interests private. Don't always be available. Don't always be the one who makes the plans. Give her space to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and what you're thinking. That mystery makes you more intriguing, more exciting. Being predictable is the quickest way to be forgotten. Stop always following the same pattern, always doing the same thing. You need to create some uncertainty, some excitement. You don't want her to know everything about you right away. Keep her guessing, keep her interested. The more you reveal yourself slowly, the more she'll want to know. The moment you stop being predictable, you start to reignite that spark of attraction. When you start doing the unexpected, whether it's changing up the way you communicate, the way you plan dates, or the way you carry yourself, she'll start to pay attention again. The element of surprise is powerful. Don't let her get too comfortable. Keep things fresh, keep things spontaneous, and watch how quickly the attraction starts to build. 4. Stop being so available. Listen up. One of the most common mistakes guys make when trying to win back a woman's attention is being way too available. It might seem like the right approach, always being there for her, ready to answer every text, jump on every call. But here's the truth. It makes you look desperate. It makes it seem like you've got no life outside of her. When you're constantly dropping everything to respond to her every need, it signals that your time isn't valuable, and that's a turn-off. Imagine you're so eager to please, so willing to drop what you're doing to make her feel special, that you forget to make yourself a priority. That's when things start to go sideways. Here's something you need to understand. You've got to have your own life. You've got to be busy with goals, projects, ambitions, anything that makes you you. If you're always available and just waiting around for her to make the next move, you're basically putting your own life on pause for her. That's not attractive. Women want a man who's got his own thing going on, someone who's focused, driven, and independent. If you're constantly available, you make it too easy for her. There's no mystery, no excitement, no space for her to miss you or to wonder what you're up to. Think about it. When you're constantly there, what's the incentive for her to value your presence? Relationships thrive on space, on a little bit of distance, a little bit of room for curiosity. If you're there all the time, she might start taking you for granted. She might even start to feel like you're too dependent on her for your own happiness. Instead, give her a reason to miss you. Make her realize that you've got a full life, one that doesn't revolve around her. When you're busy doing your own thing, she'll start to see you as someone with value, someone who doesn't just exist to please her. You don't need to play games, but you do need to respect your own time. She's going to be more interested in you when she sees you're a man who's got his own path. By being less available, you also create space for her to get to know you again. You're not putting your life on hold, and that's a power move. It's all about balance. You don't want to be the guy who's always waiting around, but you also don't want to be the guy who's ghosting her. There's power in letting her come to you when you give her room to appreciate what you bring to the table. 5. Never beg or plead. Here's the most important rule. Never beg or plead. This is a fast track to losing her respect, and trust me, you don't want that. No matter how much you feel like your heart is on the line, no woman finds a man who begs attractive. If you're pleading, you're putting her in a position of power, and that's a dangerous game to play. Desperation doesn't work. When you beg for her attention, you're showing her that you're willing to throw away your self-respect just to keep her around. That's not confidence. That's weakness. And weakness, no matter how much you try to disguise it, never attracts a woman. It doesn't matter how much you care, how much you've invested. Begging makes you look like you're willing to compromise who you are just to keep her in your life. That's a massive turn-off. When you beg, you're putting yourself in the position of the person who is constantly chasing her approval. You're waiting for her to decide if she wants you, if she deserves you. And no woman wants that kind of pressure. They want someone who stands on his own, someone who is comfortable in his own skin, someone who doesn't need anyone's validation to feel whole. Confidence is everything. When you maintain your self-respect, you're showing her that you're a man of value. You're not just waiting around for her attention. You've got your own life, your own goals, your own ambitions. You're someone who doesn't need her to feel validated. That's attractive. Instead of pleading, focus on making your own life as fulfilling as possible. Don't put her at the center of your universe. You should be the center of your universe. When she sees that you're a man who doesn't need her, but wants her, that's when things start to shift. Women are attracted to strength, to independence, and to men who don't lose themselves in relationships. They want someone who stands firm, who doesn't break under pressure, and who isn't afraid to walk away when necessary. And here's the reality. If you have to beg or plead, then she's probably not the one for you. You don't need to chase anyone. The right person will come to you when you respect yourself enough to walk away. Begging makes you less valuable, less respected, and in the end, less wanted. Confidence, on the other hand, is a magnet. When you keep your dignity intact, it makes you more attractive, not just to her, but to anyone. And whether or not she comes back, you're going to be better off. You'll move on, stronger, more self-assured, and ready to find someone who values you the way you should be valued. It might be hard to hear, but if you're begging or pleading, you've already lost. No matter how much you care, no woman is going to be attracted to someone who doesn't value himself. When you beg, you're showing that you have no other options, no other life. And that's a huge red flag. It's time to wake up. Stop putting all your energy into winning someone back. Put that energy into yourself. Build your own life, your own world. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Women will always be attracted to a man who has his own purpose, his own goals, and his own sense of self-worth. When you stop begging, stop pleading, and start respecting yourself, you'll see that the right women will be drawn to you, not because you're chasing them, but because you're walking your own path. Drop a comment below if you've ever found yourself in the begging position, and let's talk about how you can take back control of your life and your relationships. You don't have to beg. Just be the man you were always meant to be.